On today's episode of Keep It Coming podcast.
There's so much you can't do until you're 18. What makes you think that you should be able to go and put a penis on a woman?
My first memory was just like, this is who I am. And then everyone was like, oh, it's just going to go away. This is just a phase. You're going to grow out of it.
Nothing is worse than gay guys who get straight guys drunk. When you're topping, what is the longest you've ever lasted in bed?
Oh, like a long, hard, intense, passionate 45 seconds.
Welcome back to Keep It Coming podcast, episode I don't know, and season who cares?
No, we're not doing seasons anymore. That's bad luck.
So Shayan, tell us that you are now going to have to say that you're a man on your passport.
Yes. So this is news to me. I was actually watching a TikTok the other day that someone posted, and they were talking about how their passport, when they went to apply for a new passport, they actually had to apply as the gender they were like
Born with,
yeah,
assigned.
Yeah, right?
Assigned at birth?
Yeah. Well, anyways, it was this. Okay, this is what I read. Okay, basically,
And this is facts. Like
this
isn't
this
like
is straight
just,
from
okay,
the straight from the government passport travel state gov. The White House issued executive order defending women from gender ideology extremism and restoring biological truth to the federal government. Under the executive order, we will no longer issue U.S. passports with an X marker, and we will only issue passports with an M or F sex marker that matches the customer's biological sex at birth.
Interesting.
Yes. So this is annoying because I'm a little frustrated, obviously, because first of all, traveling, I'm deathly afraid of traveling. And now planes are crashing. Everyone's saying like, don't get on a plane now because of some recent cut that happened.
The FAA.
Yeah. So I'm like already terrified, already have a fear of flying. And then it's like all my stuff is female, literally everything. And because I'm in the state of California, we're protected and whatever. But at the same time, it's like, that's just going to be so annoying. I go into a country and they see female on all my other stuff and then male on my
passport.
Yeah. And I just think too, like, listen, I'm not against biology. I know exactly who the fuck I am. Like I know I'm a guy born biologically male. I know I'm a trans woman. I am not a cisgendered woman. I'm not trying to steal or take anything from women at all. I have a lot of respect and love for women. So this is just, it's hard. It's a hard. And like, I just feel like it's specifically, it's obviously targeting everyone, but I do feel like it is specifically targeting trans women because it's like, why are we protecting the ideology of women's rights? Like,
Yeah.
it just doesn't make sense to me. And then like, I don't know, there's just a lot, and I don't like to sound political, but I do think it is something that we should talk about. But it's like Nancy Mace saying tranny, in like, and then there's also, let me see her name, who works for the Capitol. She's a trans woman.
Who can't use the bathroom?
Sarah McBride is banned from using the women's restroom in the Capitol. And she's like she's trans, but she's like a representative. I don't know. I'm really bad with government stuff. And this is also another reason why I don't talk politics, because I didn't go to school. So if I want to, I'll probably have to like go to school and learn all the things because I'm not that smart. But it's just crazy to me. And it's like, this is the moment where I'm like, okay, it's a little annoying. Like I couldn't imagine going into a work environment. Cause like for me, it's like,
I couldn't imagine going to a work environment either.
For real. But going into a work environment and having someone saying like these, slurs, ultimately, it's like, okay, this shouldn't be. And then not being able to use the restroom when I'm at work, like, it's so crazy.
And I'm going to bring something back that you brought up though, and it might be inserting words into your own mouth, but saying a word brings it power.
Totally, for sure.
So by her just saying tranny, is it because the tone she's saying it in, or is it because of like the weight that's carrying behind it?
Well, I just think it's like, at what point is it then going to turn into cunt? At what point is it going to turn into...
But I mean, like the British use the word cunt as like for their breakfast.
Yes, but not...
Make my tea, cunt.
Right, but not in like a work environment. I feel like when you go to work, you don't sign up for all this bullshit. You go to work to make your money and go home and do what you need to do. And it's like dealing with all this extra bullshit. It's like, with my friends, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like I signed up for that, but I didn't sign up for this at work. And I didn't sign up for this to like deal with it and watch it. And I just think in a matter of time, I really think she's just gonna shoot herself in the foot because she's over here for who? You know what I mean? Like who is she fighting for? At the end of the day, these men that you are fighting for, Nancy, they're calling you a cunt behind closed doors, and you know damn well. You know, so it's just tough. It's tough. It's a tough situation for sure. And I already told you about how going to the passport office already brings me anxiety, and I had to apply for my passport, and now I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna be freaking out now.
Well, the good thing is Shayan doesn't leave her house, so it's okay. So the next 4 years, we're just gonna just let it blow over.
Yeah, and definitely don't want to get on a plane next week.
Well, considering that everyone already hates me in the comments,
no one hates
I guess
you.
the reason they would do this is because imagine like, you know, you're in another country like Iran and you do get murdered or something and they identify the body and there's a penis attached to it. They're not going to look at your, they're going to be like, oh, no, this can't be her because she's a woman. She has a vagina. Like, on to the next body.
Yeah,
you know what I
but
mean?
silicone doesn't compost, so it'll have my boobs will still be
They'll
attached.
just look like a girl was just carrying balloons as she walked down the street when she got hit by an airstrike.
And also they have a serial number, so they'll be able to identify exactly who purchased it too with my name.
Oh my gosh.
When a lot of times when there is a murder, a lot of times they will identify you based off of your breast implants. So,
Interesting.
Yeah, don't ever try to kill
That's
a girl
wild.
with breast implants. I mean, don't try to kill anyone in general, but especially a girl with breast implants. Do not do that because they will identify her in 2 seconds.
Interesting.
There's a serial number.
So for everyone else out there who does want to
No.
unalive somebody,
What the hell?
now you have fingerprints, dental records, and breasts. There we go.
Breasts.
It's actually funny you bring this up because
will
there was a
always
lady who sits there and she is going viral right now. She puts air tags in her kids' everything, like backpack, lunchbox, shoes, everything. And everyone's just like, oh my gosh, like you're going too far. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, maybe I'm like a serial killer or something. But like all I'm doing is like the person that's going to kidnap kids is now going to be like, take the shoes off, remove the backpack, remove the lunchbox. You know what I mean? Like they're literally taking notes. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's really crazy. I mean,
But yeah, I guess going back to our original conversation that, you know, we'll have to do a little bit more research on the difference between gender and sex because apparently ChatGPT says that we can go down a deep rabbit hole on that, and we'll get back to you on this. But moving forward, I have watched a few interesting memes online where, you know, parents are justifying the transition of their children under the age of 10. Specifically a man who was talking about his 7-year-old in the middle of a transition and people are kind of coming for him. What are your thoughts on children transitioning under the age of 10? Or, I mean, under any age? Should there be an age? Like,
well, this is a topic I can't speak on it because I did not transition as a child. I transitioned as a legal adult. So that's based off of my experience. Now, did I necessarily know what trans was? No. Did I know at the age of 3? I was just like, I'm a girl. Like, I want to be a girl. This is what I want to be. And that was like what I would tell people. And they would be like, you're not. And it wasn't until going to school and boys sit over here, girls sit over there. And I'm like, wait, what? So, I mean, did I know at a young age? Yeah, my first memory was just like, this is who I am. And then everyone was like, oh, it's just going to go away. This is just a phase. You're going to grow out of it. And it didn't. It would come in waves where like, I would do everything in my power to like be the best at everything to try to run away from that. And it wasn't until I moved out here and I really just kind of like, I had a really good job. I had a lot of stuff going for me. Like I had so much and I was an attractive, conventionally very attractive guy. All the girls wanted me, all the guys wanted me, but I was so unhappy and I did not feel fulfilled. And it was like, it came back and it was,
It's tough though, because like I would play with my sister's Barbie dolls, but like if I had a dad like that, you know, that really looked into it, then they would maybe be like, oh, my kid plays with Barbie dolls. Maybe he's trans. You know what I mean? But like, I'm clearly not. So I don't know.
I don't know. And again, like I don't necessarily think kids know necessarily what it is or what it means. They're just like, I didn't know what trans was. I was just like, I'm a girl and this is what I am. And it wasn't until I moved out here and I finally figured out like, oh, this is what trans is. Like that makes sense. And it all kind of clicked in my brain. So it is hard, but I do know a lot of my friends who have transitioned, you know, as children and they had a way easier life because they're able to pass into society easier. And like, You know, I think that, you know, God's timing is always right. And do I necessarily think I would have had the strength to transition as a child? Probably not. But, you know, would it have saved me a lot of money on surgeries? Would I have probably had smaller shoulders? Would I have, you know, probably been a few inches shorter and more passable? Yes. But at the same time,
Then you wouldn't make as much on your spicy page.
But I'm also getting to a place in my life where it's like, but passable for who? You know what I mean? Like, why am I trying to be passable? For what? So someone can feel comfortable with me being around? I'd rather be out and proud and trans and people be like, hey, that's Shayan, she's trans, she's cool, she changed my ideology on it. And it's like tying back to like, I have a lot of conservative friends who hit me up and they were just like, all this, you know, passport stuff and Nancy Mace stuff, like they are not behind it at all. They were like, we don't stand for this, and like we know you as like the Shayan we know and love, and like we don't see you as anything but who you are. So
well, speaking of transitioning, I am transitioning into a gargoyle.
Oh, I love gargoyles.
Yeah, because I woke up this morning and I had a pimple under my eyelid.
Oh my God.
And I popped it.
Wait, how do you, wait.
I got tweezers and I popped it and like it swelled up and I don't know how it looks on camera. So if I look
I
like,
didn't even notice.
oh my gosh. I was like telling Joey over there, I was like, I look horrible. And Joey's a bitch because I literally was like, I look horrible. I feel like my eye hurts and it looks horrible. He goes, you feel like you look horrible, it's probably because you do.
Oh my gosh.
Joey, you're a little bastard.
No, you look beautiful. No one hates you. You got like 2 comments against you. It really bothered him, you guys. Be nice to him.
No, don't be nice to me. I love it. I live for it. But like some of them are just not true. But it's okay. I need to adjust. My shirt is too tight. I'm trying to wear colors because all I've been wearing is black. So I'm trying to wear colors for you people.
Oh, show them your shirt.
To not look black.
I
love unicorns.
So do you think that people under the age of 18 should be able to transition?
Absolutely not.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous. I honestly think that's like, there's so much you can't do until you're 18. What makes you think that you should be able to go and like put a penis on a woman? I'm sorry. But a born female, I don't know. But I just think it's ridiculous. I don't know. Like if you can't buy cigarettes or a pack of beer, why should you be able to go and change your entire like sex? I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy and you guys are probably gonna just really come for me on this. But I don't give a shit. But I really don't think that you should be able to. I think that, you know, the brain is still so malleable and it's still forming. Like let it form a little bit more. Like at 25 is when your brain finally is done like.
Yeah, but at 25, like that's that would be just way too late for a lot of people.
Yeah. I'm not saying 20, I don't know. I don't know if there is an age, but the same thing is like if you ask like, should there be an age of drinking? It's like, probably not. You know, you can join the military at 18, but you can't drink till you're 21. Like, you know, this whole age thing does get a little wild, but there's got to be some kind of hard
It's hard
rules.
though, because, and I do want to talk about this, and I know this is a very controversial topic to talk about. Detransitioners, and that being an example for like, oh, this person regrets their transition. Okay, I didn't. Like, that's you. You're not trans. You know what I mean? You tried it. You thought you were. You did all this stuff, and it didn't work out for you. But for me, it had nothing to do with like, oh, this is just something I want to do. No, for me, it was literally life or death. Like, I actually wanted to myself because I was like, it's either transition or just go. And I tried to go and I failed. And well, I guess it's a good thing that I failed because then I was given a second chance. And I was just like, well, at this point, I'm rock bottom. I might as well just say fuck it and try it. And I just think, I worry sometimes too, because I just think like if a child was coming up to me and saying that they were having those thoughts of like wanting to, I don't know. Like, I don't know what I would do. I mean, I would obviously like take them to the doctor and a specialist. And I do think that there needs to be a little bit more regulation as far as, I know when I was transitioning, you had to go to a therapist.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, 100%. For sure, 100%. And a lot of people, they don't want to go through the 2 years you need in order to get paperwork and stuff. But unfortunately, I feel like that's something you have to do. And in those 2 years of me going to therapy,
it solidified what you wanted to do.
Exactly.
And that's where we are today.
Exactly.
Sure.
And I was able to focus because so many people focus on like I want titties, I want ass, I want this, I want that. Being a woman, there's so much more to being a woman than just your how you look. You know?
Yeah, I know for a fact that there are people who have transitioned just to be able to get like hot guys. I know for a fact.
No,
people
I
can
know
say
that
I'm
too.
lying. I know
Yeah.
girls who are transitioned now as women who, when I met them, they were not good looking
We
dudes.
call them microwave trannies.
There you go.
We call them
they were
boys,
not good looking dudes,
Yeah.
and they had a hard time pulling it. And you know what? They end up being beautiful women, and but they don't represent feminine qualities. Like it still is a dude with tits, and
or they just go down a dark path of like feeling lack of fulfillment, therefore turning
like
to
I
drugs
know this one
and
girl who's
alcohol.
been married like 5 times now, and she's transitioned, and like she does it to be able to get the money, to be able to get the bag. She does, whatever, and then move to the next. But going back to detransitioning, so when someone detransitions, do they default back to their normal settings? Is it just like I was trans, now I'm back to being a man, or do you kind of live out the rest of your life as like a
no, usually they'll revert back to like factory settings for sure, as much as they can, because obviously hormones affect it and change their bodies.
That's what I was saying. So, okay, cool. So they wouldn't identify as trans. So that would lead to another question: is and a lot of people. This is what drives me crazy, and a lot of my straight friends. I'll bring up this point, but if a gay man has a one-off relationship or one-off like fuck with a girl, they don't become straight again. No. You don't reset back to being straight.
Yeah.
You are forever a gay man. You know what I mean? Unless you move to Iowa, delete your social medias and start over again. Like it's funny that, there's also like a yes and because I know many girls who have made out and hooked up with girls who are still straight women. And I'm like, all right, it's
more in a fucked up way. It's more socially acceptable for 2 girls to make out than it is for like 2 straight guys to make out, because it's like 2 straight girls make out. It's like, that's hot, but then like 2 guys. I think it's hot. I love to make, like, my friends and we love to like dare our boyfriends to make out with each other. It's so hot. I love it.
Now that we were segueing into that, we're gonna get on the topic of Shayan's spicy page, aka OF for our audience is a little bit older.
Should have subscribed.
But I did a poll, and I would say 80 to 85% of the subscribers on your page are submissive. Wow. Why do you think that is? And like, there are people who I see everything on Shayan's page, by the way, since I help manage everything like that. I see all the demographics on there.
See my butthole from every angle imaginable.
I see the demographics, and I get an idea so that we know the content to take for the following Tuesday and blah, blah, blah. But I've noticed that the poll is just so much, it's all submissive, and it's so crazy to me. It makes things a lot easier. I actually was like, okay, if most of them are dom, then it's like, okay, we can go that route, but if they're 50-50, it's going to be really hard. Because it's like, okay, like we're going to have to sit down and make double the content. We have to make content for subs and content for dom. But it makes it a lot easier to just do it for the subs.
Wow.
So we have a special guest who is here every Tuesday now. She just won't go away. Kind of like herpes. Miss Nadia.
God, we love Nadia.
We love Nadia. She's been helping us a lot. Yes. We love a good VPN moment. So, on topic, why do you think that is? Why do you think that most of Shayan's following are submissive? And Shayan, tell us a little bit about how you feel about that.
I mean, I was doing a lot of research, and I feel like guys typically want to go into a very submissive state, especially because so many men who are like CEOs of like major companies, like sometimes they just want to stop like ordering people around, and they just want to lay on their backs and be my little sissy slut. And I'm down for that.
Love that.
I think it's hot. I think it's great. I think establishing that trust with someone who wants to be a sub and have someone respect them and know they're in a safe space to really just like explore their sexuality. Because I've been able to explore my sexuality, but I feel like so many men, they're like shamed for it, and you shouldn't be shamed for it. It's sexy and everyone does it.
And you are most of your followers? Yeah. I'd say like yours are probably even higher percentage are going to be submissive, correct?
99%. Yeah. I don't.
Hell yeah.
I maybe have 1 or 2 guys who are like, oh my God, like, I'm trying to see what you about, girl, whatever. There are switches, but I don't have, I think I maybe have 1 or 2 doms a year who are brave enough to tempt me, but I know what they're actually doing.
Yeah.
But
you think they're trying to flip you or what?
Yes, all of them,
100%.
and I end up flipping them. It's
Right.
so great.
so
It's
hot.
so great. It's so great.
And do you get into pegging?
I don't do that very often. I don't. I think I've only had one, and it was like a trying out situation. And then the rest that are like for real, are like sessions that I've done with other doms who've been doing this for like a decade plus. So like I really just the guys who are. I don't want to deal with someone who's new and wants to try it out with me. Like no.
Yeah.
But no, they're just essentially you're really attractive, and these men are really submissive, and I feel like they're all high key, low key DL. And I just feel like at the end of the day, like we talked about, we just mentioned now, but like trans people make up a very small population of the world. And so you are a rare gem that should be cherished, revered, and respected. So there's already a submissive population
what
of
about
men.
me? Hello.
You too, always.
I need to be
Always.
revered and
Cookie.
what is that word that you said?
What did I say? I don't know.
I don't know. Most men are dumb. That's why.
They are. Mhm. But you're really hot, and I there's no one like you, and especially like if I was telling you about my trans friend, you know what I mean? It's like very rare to come across people who are stunning, beautiful baddies who also know that they're that way and they've always wanted to be that way. So I think there's that, and I honestly think it's because of the DL situation where men just kind of like want to, like you said, unicorns. Like I'll never be that. You know what I mean? And you are who you are.
I know, and no one should be shamed for their sexuality and like exploring and stuff like that, for sure.
For shame.
Shame.
Stone the non-believers.
Unless if that's what you're into and you want me to shame you, then
No.
and send that tip.
Shame. Let her shame you. But pay her.
Well, thank you, Miss Nadia. She's the best. Nadia's been helping us out a lot, and we love her.
Yes.
Yeah, she's amazing. We need
Yeah.
it. It's a bunch of dudes here, and all of us are just like our heads down, and like we just business, and like Nadia comes in here, and she's like our cheerleader. No, I'm talking about our behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how long is too long when it comes to having sex?
Anything more than 45 seconds,
No.
honestly. Yeah.
No, I actually had this conversation where I don't even know who it was, but I was like, most people, if they're on the receiving end of a dick, don't want long sex. Am I crazy? I just feel like long sex, it's just like there's something inside of you. Like,
Well,
there comes-
the anal girls. I think vaginas work a little different.
Maybe.
They need to like be revved up a little. But the butthole, it's revved. It's ready to it's ready for you to drop those children off, honey, and then we'll get rid of that in the toilet later.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe we'll have Nadia on next time. We'll get a more
Yeah.
in deep dive question on that because for me, the shorter the better. I don't really care.
Yeah.
Like 2 pump chumps, fine.
You know,
I'm down.
I had a porn star tell me they were like the best way to have sex, and what makes for really, really good sex is to tease for like 45 minutes. Like 45 minutes of dance for each other, do a little tease, massage each other, do a little bit of foreplay here and there. But when it comes down to actual sex, it should be no longer than 5 minutes.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you're just like 45
'cause I mean,
minutes of just intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like sex is a race. I mean, you want to get to the finish line.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, it's just like, because there's guys, I know a lot of guys that would like come too fast and they get all embarrassed and shy. And I'm like, no, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, that is literally the point is to get there. Like, don't,
I think
I'm
it's
sorry.
a compliment.
Like,
You're attracted to me.
in the rare event that I'm bottoming, I'm not going to sit there getting like
With me.
pounded.
He only bottoms for me.
Yeah.
Right, subs?
Yeah. Perfect. But yeah, I'm like, get it out of there. Like, no.
And I'm like, no, but like, I'm not done.
Ouch, you're on my pubes.
Don't pull my wig.
So let us know in the comments how long is too long for
Yeah.
sex. We're interested to know about this. Shayan, our viewers are very interested. When you're topping, what is the longest you've ever lasted in bed?
Ooh, like a long, hard, intense, passionate 45 seconds.
Do you really come that fast when you're topping?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of like finish them off with a finger in there,
I'm
or
just
what?
like, no, you can get out. You gotta treat them like, you gotta treat them like they treat other girls. You have to just be like, get your shit and go.
That's
You
wild.
little slut.
I mean, yeah, I'd say the longest was only because I took a Viagra, but it was fucking a girl, and like I could not bust. Like I was going at it for I want to say hours. Like we started at like 11 p.m. and like finally 4 a.m. Like I got sensation back and it happened. And I was like, I felt so accomplished though. I literally like stood up and I was like, oh my God, it's gonna come. Like,
You're like, yay!
I know, it was wild. And the boyfriend was just staring at me. It was a little bit of a cuck situation, even though I didn't know what that word was until recently.
Oh my God.
So,
oh, that's hot.
Now it's time for Keep It Coming's Coming in Hot, your guys' favorite segment, or it better be.
So this question is actually from my OF. This applies to both of us. If you meet a straight guy and are going to have sex, do you top him first or do you bottom first to not scare him off?
Oh, I'll let you answer that one first.
Ooh, I always say they're always gonna get scared when they see the dick. I'm sorry, they always do. So you always have to like kind of ease them into it. You know what I mean? Like I typically have to keep myself tucked and then I kind of listen to them and ease them into that. I'm more so always like very patient with the person that I'm hooking up with because I'm like, I know this is like. It's crazy because they think it's new to them, and then once they see, they're like, "Hey, I have one of those. This is gonna be easy."
It's like riding a bike with no seat
and no training wheels.
Yeah, no, I'd say the same. Like I typically would bottom for them, but then like I would have like a fun trick where we'd go in the hot tub and I would just grab their hand and put it on my dick, and they'd freak out. But then it's like, okay, now we could like. Try to put it other places. Maybe after a shot or two.
Yeah.
But they have to be sober. I will say, this is a segue. Nothing is worse than gay guys who get straight guys drunk to hook up with them.
Oh, yeah, no.
That's horrible. Not only is it predatory, but like in the sense of like, I want you to remember hooking up with me.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
That's my thing. Is like, I'm like, no, like, why the fuck would I want you to get drunk so you just don't remember it? No. I want you to remember hooking up with me because like, it's ridiculous. Like, I've heard so many stories of like, straight guys are like, oh, I went home with someone and I woke up with my pants off. I'm like, I'm
happened
sorry.
to my ex-boyfriend.
When you're standing around in my house, you're probably gonna sleep in the other room just because I want to avoid that like 100%. You know what I mean? Because it's like when this happens, you're gonna remember it.
Yeah.
One way or another.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's
Either
actually
you will or your
that's
guts
great
are.
that you bring that up for sure. That is great because that happens a lot and people don't realize that. Like you have to be very careful.
Next question.
And next question is it common for straight guys to be attracted to trans females but not the handsome gay male?
I'll let you answer that one.
I mean,
Hey, I'd ask the question too. Actually, that's a good question.
yeah.
Because like, what if it's a pretty boy? Like, I see some
Like a
pretty boys.
femboy?
Yeah, like this is why James Charles gets what he gets because like he's a pretty ass boy, even though he's like a child person, which is weird. But I actually saw him at the pizza place the other day. Really? Very strange.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But what are your thoughts?
I mean, I had this guy explain to me perfectly. He was like, I'm a little confused right now because he was like, I've been to jail. And he was like, and I was in sports and I've seen many dudes showering naked next to me. And I've never once looked at them and thought, wow, I want to fuck that. But he was like, every time I look at you, all I think is, damn, I want to fuck that. And I'm like, period. Okay.
I love
Men are very visual creatures. Like that's just how it is. Women are more emotional, more, psychological. I don't know.
Psychopathic.
But men are just visuals. They're just, they can literally get turned on by just,
True.
hey, I see titties, I see ass, I see a pretty face.
I don't know though. I've never seen a mouth a dick didn't like. I'll tell you right now.
Mouth a dick didn't like. Ooh, I don't know. But then like, what if there's like scruff and it like rubs up and then they're like, oh my God, sensory overload.
All right. So these next questions, I actually have a laundry list of them. So I'll just pick a couple because they go a little hard on this
fire.
one. Yeah. Okay. And one of these is directed toward you specifically. Do you think it's necessary for a trans woman to have bottom surgery to be truly a complete woman? And do you think you will have bottom surgery someday?
No, because you'll never be a complete woman. You'll always be a trans woman. And so you might as well just, if you want to get bottom surgery, do it for you, but don't do it for someone else. If you think getting bottom surgery is going to make that guy stay or get a ring on your finger, it's not. Like, own what you have and there should be no shame around your transness. So, yeah.
Interesting. And then this one would be, what has been your worst hookup / escort experience? This would be for both of us, but Have you had one that's incredibly bad?
I mean, I had a guy threaten to beat me up.
Okay.
And like tried to
Only
steal
once?
my dog. Yeah, I mean, I've had multiple guys threaten to beat me up, but I don't know why men just resort to violence so quickly. But this guy basically, he was like young. He was like 22 years old, like made a bunch of money on crypto. He tried to pay me with fake money, and I like clocked it, and I was like, okay, you can get the fuck out. Even though he was hot, I was like, you need to get the fuck out. And he was like, okay, I'm taking your dog with me. And I was like, no, the fuck you're not. And I took my dog and then I shoved him against the wall. And then he like threatened to beat me up.
Ugh, men always resort to violence.
Yeah. Oops.
So I've probably had many experiences like this, but one that really comes to mind and then like resonates is I had a 3-way with these 2 dudes that were really good looking. Like, it was something that I set up. It was awesome. I was looking forward to it. Both like just like statue picturesque, your stereotypical hot guy type shit. And one of the guys though decides when he gets there that he wanted to bottom for the first time. And the guy he wanted to bottom for was with a dude that had like a giant wiener. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, none of this is gonna work out well. You know what I mean? I'm like, your first time, and it's like, why would you choose someone with like a 9-inch wiener to, you know? So just like you guys would imagine, it starts happening. He goes, puts it in, pulls out, all of a sudden the smell, and I have white sheets. And, you know, the crazy part is like when he took it out, you know, the other guy was expecting me to suck it. And I was like, this is absolutely not happening. Like it was dark. Like I've set up situations where I'm like, okay, like I intentionally want it to be dark, like just in case there is a little bit of whatever, like you know, just like I'd rather just not having it ruin the entire situation but like this was a complete disaster. And like then it's like, all right, you know, you 2 in the shower, and then it's like kills the mood. But like I just don't get it. Why would anyone on their first time, straight, gay, whatever, why would you just be so gung-ho about taking a giant wiener? Like, it's not that easy. Like, just because you see it in porno, people just taking dick, it's not how it goes down in the real world. There's preparation, there's time, there's, you
Diet,
know.
pure for men.
It's so crazy. So that was a long answer to a short question. But that wraps up our Keep It Coming in Hot segment. Thank you for asking the questions. Go ahead and send us in many more questions, however you want. But
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. So have you noticed that having a podcast might make it hard to have a relationship? And the reason I do ask, and I ask that question knowing your answers, because you met someone who did see a clip of you who you're talking to, and then they were like, oh no, this isn't going to work. I recently had a similar situation where I was kind of just talking. It was very casual. We didn't even really meet. And like the guy immediately was like, bro, you said like you're like masculine, but like your podcast clips are really gay. And I was like, shit, man. Like I don't see it that way, but who knows? It's all up in the air. But it just kind of boils down to like having a podcast that is so open like this could definitely make it hard to have a relationship with someone who prefers something more closed. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, but, so yes, that situation was crazy because it was about the Wild Boys, and it was when they, you know, drank tequila and spit it in my mouth, and this guy saw it, and he was just like, you know, this is not what I signed up for. I don't think this is funny. And I was like, I thought it was really fucking funny. Shit, I'll do it again. And it's wild because he tried to justify it, and I was just like, you know what, like. I was like, yeah, but who are you? Like, you messaged me on like a separate Instagram. Why don't you like message me on your like actual personal Instagram? Why do you like message me on a separate Instagram? And he was like, well, it's because I had a relationship that was going downhill. And yes, I was messaging you behind her back. And I'm like, well, that's fucked up. Like, I'm sorry, but I think having two 23-year-olds spit in my mouth is honestly doing the world a favor. Like, you're welcome, and I will continue to do it.
Yay.
Thank you. I am Shayan and I approve of this message.
Well, while we're on the topic of this, I had a question for you. You know, we're all well aware of your type as being a broke boy.
I love it.
But, you know, I know that you want children, and I know that you want like the dream, the house, the dog. How do you expect to get this if you want to date a broke man?
it's just gonna motivate me to be successful.
So you want to be
want to be the successful man. Because I never ever wanted ever depend on a man ever. And I also don't. It's weird. Like, I like men to do certain things for me, like basically be an assistant to me. And I like men to make decisions for me. But at the same time, I don't like to be controlled. And I feel like a lot of times when someone is the breadwinner, they're trying to control me and they're trying to tell me what I can and can't do. And, oh, I this and oh, that. And it's like, when you try to like cage a wild animal, she's only going to go crazier. Yeah. So yeah. And just, I don't know, broke guys, they just live in the moment more and they have more time to hang out with you. And it's like, I need you around me at all times, just looking cute like a little puppy. But I am looking for an assistant / boyfriend. Because my future boyfriend is going to be my assistant. You're going to be a videographer. You're going to take all my photos. You're going to literally.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Valentine's just passed. Tell us, did you find that man on Valentine's Day?
Yeah. Well, he left a little early. So this is the story of Orange County boy. And we had gone on a date before. We explained this a little bit. And he brought a pew-pew to the date before. I forgot about that.
You brought a what?
A pew-pew.
A pew-pew.
A weapon of some sort.
A weapon of mass destruction. Yes. Yeah, she actually sent me a picture of it sitting on her table, and I was like, ooh, that's wild.
Yeah, it's wild. And so he asked me to come. I'm not going to say your name because he was like, my biggest fear is being exposed on your podcast. I'm like, I'm not going to expose you, babe. Yeah, no. You're fine. But he came, and we were supposed to have a cute little innocent sleepover and read the Bible cover to cover. And he pulls out a weapon and places it on my table. And I was like, oh, hey, like, I don't know you that well. Like, what's that for? And he's just like, oh, this is, for safety. Like, I figured you didn't have one, so I brought it. We're in Hollywood. Okay, cute. We go to bed. I wake up in the middle of the night, and I see him pacing around my living room area, holding the weapon. And I was like, oh, hell no. And I'm like, what do I say? Like, do I startle him? Do I say, like, because, like, what if I startle him and he just attacks me or something? I don't know. And I don't know if he's like sleepwalking or if this is like a psychosis thing. But he was pacing. I mean, he looked damn good pacing around naked with the weapon. It was kind of hot. But I was
He had two weapons.
He really does. He really does. He really does. And I was just like, oh no. So I finally was just like, hey, like, don't you, hey. And he was just like, oh, I heard a sound. And I was like, okay, like, we live in Hollywood. And he's like, yeah, I guess I'm just not used to these sounds. And I was like, yeah, this is what happens when you live in a city. And
then he left.
And then, well, no, ended up spending the night. Woke me up at 6 a.m. Said 6 a.m. was sleeping in for him. Yeah. Dragged me to go get coffee. And I don't really do caffeine. Like, I get really cracked out. I sometimes do a Red Bull or Monster for this. But I was cracked out on coffee. I had all these plans for us to do all this fun shit. And he was like, all right, I'm going to go home and meal prep. And so he left me there at 7 a.m. cracked out on coffee with literally nothing to do.
Except for make OF content.
Yes.
But
which I didn't.
I actually repeated your story back to someone. I actually don't remember who it was. But, I told him how crazy it was. But they brought an interesting, not so much of a question, but like an observation where they're like, well, he comes from Orange County where it's very quiet, very docile. Yeah. And it's interesting that, his happiness is quiet, super serene, blah, blah, blah. And you find your happiness in like chaos, which is like the heart of Hollywood. You sleep with the window open. You hear the horns honking. Like, I could never. To my ears. So it's funny when you're explaining that story, I related to him because you said that he woke up because your dog made a noise and heard something. If Logan barks in the middle of the night, I am that man 100% because I live in Burbank where like you don't hear horns. You don't hear people walking around. Like, you said he might have heard someone on your hallway. Like, I've never lived in an apartment. I couldn't imagine hearing footsteps outside of my door 2.5 inches away from me. Yeah. To me, I would probably do the same thing. It's a trip.
But also bringing it to dinner and putting it on the dinner
I don't agree. I don't agree with anything he did. Like, none of that. I think we talked about in this last episode.
And he had this tick where he would, like, every 2 seconds, he'd be like, and I'm like, it's fine. It was just like his tick.
I'm not justifying anything he does, but I could say, at first I like to look at all sides of the story, and I'm like, okay, but I've never been in the situation either where I'm like, if I stay at I don't stay at other people's houses, period. But if I did, and the dog wakes up, and you're in the middle of an unknown place, I'm like, oh yeah, no, for sure.
But it was the right amount of chaos, and I'd still bang his brains.
But yeah, so last episode we had talked about whether if a female invites a male to dinner for Valentine's Day, she should pay. I said, I thought. I don't remember what we came to the conclusion on.
Pretty sure I said,
But I remember a friend of mine was asked out by his landlord to go to dinner, blah, blah, blah. Well, comes to find out, not only is he in the studio right now with us, but we do have the response where she actually expected him to pay for the whole thing. She asked him out on a date to a really nice restaurant, where he paid for valet. And then at the end when the bill came, he said he kind of just let it sit there to see if she'd go for it or anything for a little while, and she didn't go for it.
And mind you, this woman's husband in the house that the person she's taking on the date with. Yeah, so that's also pretty wild.
That's wild.
Because what if his ghost is watching?
I know, it's crazy.
What? That's so wild.
I didn't get the details though on whether or not anything happened in the background. No.
No.
Okay, so that was it.
Okay.
You just paid the bill.
Have you had any paranormal activity lately? Any Casper the friendly ghost or not so friendly ghost?
Casper the unfriendly ghost.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think if I'm going to take a guy out, and that's the thing. It's I like to travel. I like to do fun stuff, even though I'm terrified of airplanes. But I'm expecting that majority of the guys that I'm going to date aren't going to have those means. And I will pay for that because I would love doing fun things with someone you enjoy having sex with is so hot. It just makes everything so much
I like
more
to pay
fun.
for experiences for sure.
Yeah, and it's why not experience that with someone you also want to bang?
Yeah, like Joey.
Hot.
Again.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
Oh my god. If you were a girl, what kind of girl would you be?
I would be a dumb, slutty one with big fake boobs so that I can ride private jets and yachts for free.
Sounds like me.
I mean, what would you do if you were a girl for a day? So how much is too much to charge for a dick pic?
No such thing as too much. Get a job. Work harder.
So I'm sure your DMs get blown up. Do you like receiving nudes?
I will only open them unless you pay me. Ass, cash, or grass. Nobody writes for free.
Ooh, ain't that the truth? I actually think he's a professional rage baiter. It's pretty wild though, but I don't know if you heard that the Trump administration is trying to get his charges dropped in his own country.
Whoa.
I know, it's just wild.
I didn't know that.
We'll have to circle back on that next episode. So what's your opinion on guys that are into anime?
Well, if they love fake girls, then they should love paying me.
Ooh, so you're into nerds?
I want them to cosplay as my ATM.
Oh, cha-ching. So what do you think about men who call OnlyFans girls sluts?
Ugh, they are just mad that we make more than their little 9-to-5 jobs.
Isn't that a generalization?
Maybe, but so is their hate.
So, Sean, gay rights or Tostina's pizza rolls?
Ooh, Logan Paul, Jake Paul, or RuPaul?
Ooh, it's a tough one. Luigi Maggioni or Mario and Luigi?
All of them are hot. Smash.
Right.
Docking or frauding?
Yeesh. Getting pissed on or pissed in?
Step bro or stepdad?
Stepdad.
Ooh, I like step bro.
Oh my God. All right, Shayan. Now it's time for your favorite part of the show.
Pick up my mail passport.
Damn, no. It's game time.
Oh.
And for this game, we have a spin the wheel, which we haven't even looked at what is on the other side of this. Only you guys get to see it right now. So I don't even know if you can see it, but there you go. Okay, cool. So we're going to spin it, and then we'll turn around and see what it says to do.
Okay.
So, and Mrs. Nadia is the one who wrote all these on there. So we'll spin it from behind. Okay. You go first.
Me first? So
all right.
Spank me.
All right, all you little pervs out there. Spin around.
All the way?
Face the wall.
What?
Face the wall.
Oh, not too hard. Ah!
This is this one. It says a naughty confession. Oh shit. A naughty confession. I jerked off last night to your OnlyFans clips.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Wow, I wish
sorry.
everyone else can do that. Oh wait, they can. Make sure to subscribe.
All right, your turn.
My turn. Okay. Fetish confession. I love any moment to act. I love acting out scenarios, acting out. I love to act. I want to be like, be Quentin Tarantino and like, or not Quentin Tarantino. What is it? I want to be Meryl Streep on the dick. I want to act. I want to have a full scene. Yeah.
It's perfect. She acts as a woman every day. Next.
I didn't know Meryl Streep does that. She's a great actress.
All right, we have titty twerk. What in the hell?
You do it. That's yours. Oh, wow. Look at them
Shayan,
titties
can't you do
twerk.
it?
Yeah, but it's not mine. Turn.
All right, last one.
Okay, last one for me. Gag reflex. Ooh. Cam? Come here. Cam?
Yeah, I don't even know how we're
You
gonna.
want to shove your finger down?
I think you
my
should
throat?
try to
Shove
put your finger in
down.
there.
Might as well. No, I have nails. Cam, can you shove your finger down my throat? I'm actually not kidding. I want to give this guy another reason to not talk to me. You let another 23-year-old do something to you? Of course. Come on, Cam.
That's funny.
Joey, anyone? Any takers? Oh, no, those are expensive.
You can try your own
Well, so
finger.
is Cam. My own finger? I have nails. Hold on. There you go. Took the nail off.
Oh, there's no gag reflex there.
Whoa. And then you know a trick? You tug on your earlobe.
Well, that's all, folks.
See, Cam, that could have been you.
If you want to see more fucked up
Make
shit,
sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
bye.